MLC Resources, and that is a coaching and development consulting company. Now, I've been working with teams and doing communication and improving relationships for about 10 years now. And it all started, if we go back 10 years, I was in corporate America on a team that was absolutely toxic. We couldn't look at each other, let alone talk to each other or work with each other. It was awful. And the company I was with started a grassroots culture initiative. And part of that culture initiative is psychogeometrics, which is that bottom emblem there. And before I go into what that is, our team sat down for a 4-hour session. There were only 6 of us. Imagine it was all women. And we sat down and we did our 4-hour session, and we came out of there, we were never best buddies, but we could accept each other, we could work together, we could communicate with each other. It was amazing. It was a drastic change. So through that, I determined I wanted to become part of that grassroots initiative and start helping others in our organization get better and improve their situations, whether it be in work or in personal life, because this does have a huge personal life application as well. Okay, so I successfully facilitated and led from 2008 to 2017 in the corporation. In April of 2016, I decided to start my company, MLC Resources, work for another year in the corporate world, and then cut that off and started this full force. And I realized through that time that this was where my passion lay. In helping people, the development and the coaching is fun, and it's great, but to see those light bulbs go off and to see people's lives change in whatever amount that they can be is fantastic. It's phenomenal. So that's what I decided I wanted to do. So we're going to talk a little bit about the team and organizational coaching. These are the 2 certifications that I have. The first one is psychogeometric shapes, and it's the science of understanding people and the art of communicating with them. And get to my next slide on here, sorry. Okay, so it's a simple assessment similar to Myers-Briggs or DISC, except this one focuses on your behaviors, your actual traits, your personality traits fall into and create your behaviors, as well as the understanding how you communicate, how you prefer to communicate, and how you prefer to receive communication. It allows you to not only understand and recognize that within yourself, but to also recognize it within others as you're communicating with them. So if you have somebody who is very deeply technical, you can catch on to that a little bit quicker. If you have somebody who is really touchy-feely, you can catch on to that a little bit quicker, and you can make those connections. A lot of times when we communicate, we're kind of scraping by each other, depending on how far we're communicating apart. What we want to be able to do is to come together and actually hit that communication on the head. The John Maxwell Team is a fantastic teaching resource. And what it is I don't know if you all know who John Maxwell is. He is an author, a speaker, leadership expert. And he has written over 25 books. Since 1979, 20 million copies sold worldwide. He has gone into 80 different nations and helped their leadership with their leadership styles, their governments, and so on. And so he is a phenomenal leader. What he created back in 2005 is a system where he takes and mentors teachers and facilitators and teaches them more on leadership one-on-one. And he has a whole crew now that you have, I have weekly mentorship calls with either him or one of his executive leaders that works on teaching me how to better teach others how to lead, communicate, and build those relationships that are necessary in business and in life. Okay? So I have both of those certifications. Of course, I do others. I tailor my resources that I'm going to a company or to a team with based on their needs. So they may be needing something totally outside of this. I'll sit down, I'll talk with them, I'll work with them and find resources that will help them best. I also have several team building activities that I can offer up just to help grow your team get a little bit better. So what is the purpose of development and coaching? And a lot of people will say, it's just that one fuzzy thing, the checkbox that I got to do because you got to get those soft skills and all of that. But there are a lot of benefits to it. It improves your communication. Now, anybody in here communicate on a daily basis? Yeah? Is your communication perfect? With all of the different things? Probably not. So everybody communicates. Leadership. Who in here considers themselves a leader? So every single person in here should have raised their hand. Everybody is a leader. And you may have to look a little bit closer. You may think, I don't have anybody under me. I don't have any, I don't have kids that I'm leading. I don't, whatever. When you're crossing the street, if you just run willy-nilly across the street, somebody's watching you. If you are driving and texting, somebody's watching you. If you are talking to a fast food worker or a waitress or something along those lines, somebody's watching you. And they're taking cues from you on what they feel is appropriate and or inappropriate. And their actions are based sometimes on your actions, and you are leading. So then change management, that's a huge, I love this little graphic that goes with change management, because I'm usually one of those little guys underneath change, just laying down going, oh, I don't want to change. Some people embrace it, some people don't. So to learn how to better embrace it and to bring other people along with you is a huge benefit within an organization. And then team relationships, like I said, this psychogeometrics helped us bring our team on the same level, and then being able to do those different things together that build your trust. And on any team, now, how many of you are on a team? So, whether not everybody raise their hands, but believe it or not, you are on some type of a team or not. If you are in a relationship with a person of any way, shape, or form, you're on a team. And that team consists of how much trust you have between each other. Whether it's just a friend, somebody you work with, somebody you work for, somebody in the community, whether it's a church or family, all of those are teams that you need to build trust with them, right? So what is the purpose of making all those improvements? Each of these leads to a higher, to a higher engagement and results. And this last one is just a real quick showing the engagement impacts results and how it affects financials. You can look at that a little bit closer if you want, but it gives lots of details on that. And that's basically what I had today. I was going to talk a little bit more on that, but that's okay. So
we can ask questions related to that. So if anybody have questions?
Do most of the people you work with have issues, real issues that everyone knows about?
No, actually last week, in fact, I met with a financial advising office, and they had a blast doing the communication workshop. They said basically, we work so smooth and run really well, but this also brought them together as team building. They had, pretty much through the assessment, they're like, oh yeah, that's you, oh that's you, oh that's you. And they had a blast doing it, but no, it's just further growth and development. It's not necessarily to address an issue. Like I said, we can all improve, no matter how good we think we are. Yes?
What do you mainly focus on change management, or what do you mainly see?
Communication is what I really love to work with. I can work with change management, and I love doing the team building, but communication is my big love. Yes?
How are you marketing your company right now?
Networking like crazy. I'm an ambassador with the Lubbock Chamber of Commerce. I'm in Rotary. I've just done gotten into another networking group, PI, Partnerships and Entrepreneurs. I just started that, so just trying to find different ways to network, and then believe it or not, I'm actually cold calling. That's how I got my session last week, is going door to door and saying, hey, anybody doing professional development in your office? So, yes.
You've been doing this for a while. Have you noticed more acceptance for external trainers and team building and coaching, like in business culture over the last few years, or is it kind of?
Well, the company I worked for was extremely open to it. Obviously, they funded the internal initiative, and I did that for 9 years.
Yeah.
So that was all internal, although that company was so open to it that they allowed us as internal employees to spend time and money to go to their external partners that they saw were struggling in different areas. So that's how open they were to it. As far as here and now, it's more like a checkbox with the contacts I'm making. What I need to find those different contacts that will actually get to a different spot as opposed to that checkbox. The group I did last week, they're extremely forward-thinking, very open to development and coaching, but a lot of it is still a checkbox.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. What's been your biggest challenge from going from the corporate world to MLC Resources?
Finding the people, the specific person to contact. I feel one of the callings that I think I have on my business is to infiltrate schools. And that's, if I can get to the teachers and do those teacher education workshops, the teacher's the hub of that communication. They talk with the kids, they talk with the parents, they talk with their peers, the administration, they talk all the way around. And if they can better understand that communication on how to get to those kids, how to explain to the parents where the kids are, because most mama bears come in going like, we didn't do anything wrong, type of deal. Those types of conversations are saying, this is what we're seeing with, this is why we can't work as peers as well as we should be able to. Those types of deals. But who do you talk to in LISD? Who will make that decision to bring that in as a teacher workshop? I can talk to all the different principals, I can talk to the 20, 30 teachers I know, but none of them make that decision. And if I walk into LISD, I'm like, what door do I knock on? If I talk to the receptionist, I get the wall. So finding those people to talk to, that's my biggest barrier right now, is really, and that's what I just decided, I'm just gonna start cold calling, and then I can put the regional Office of Public Defenders on my resume. I can put Edward Jones on my resume now. I can put these other companies that are bigger on there where people will look at it and go, now that may be something that we want, and if I can get the talking going. So.
K-12 is really hard to crack universities. Are you getting into tech here, or is it, generally you can find sort of more advocates there? K-12 is really hard.
Again, we go back to who do we talk to get that, even the university. So,
Provosts.
Yeah.
Provost office. Get the provost.
So how do you measure effectiveness of, do they do surveys afterwards, or like process improvement? How do you do that?
we, at this point, I do not do anything specific that will fall. I would, like with Edward Jones, I did the small office, I'm going to do a leadership group, a regional leadership group, then I'm going to do the region. And we're going to go through that and see what kind of feedback I get from each one of those. And I have surveys at the end of each one. Did you get anything out of it? What do you think you'll move forward? And I'm going to follow back. I follow back around with those clients to say, hey, is this still something? Because so often when you do coaching and development, it's a really fun day or a really fun afternoon or a really fun session, and then you walk out the door and it's back to work. And nobody carries through with it. So making that a part of your culture is what I really, really emphasize with my clients, in that I can do this on a monthly basis, but it's not going to necessarily help grow your group or your organization unless you take it seriously. You get out of it what you take into it.
So is your goal to be able to just get into growth more companies? Or do you have a focus too on keeping the same client year after year and just changing it up to?
Both,
Perfect.
both.
Awesome. Anybody else? All right, you know what I'm gonna ask you. So what can we do as a 1 Million Cups communities to support you?
The information, getting to the individuals that this could make an impact on. Whether it's within a company, it can even be an individual, as my giveaway will show you, into a company, into a school system, into the university system would be great. Those types of actual one-on-one personal contacts where I can say, hey, Riley.
No.
Right.
Right. Matt said that you might be interested in this. Riley said this, you might be interested in this. And so to go in as not a complete cold call is a fantastic.
Definitely makes a difference.
Yes,
If it's not on your survey, you ought to ask that question. Who?
I do.
Okay.
Yes. I asked for testimonials and or who else would benefit from this. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so you're gonna draw?
Yep.
Who's the lucky
You
winner?
want to? I promise I won't look. That's you. Trying to look. Judy Briggs. So what this is, what I'm giving is a half-hour consultation, basically, and I have the assessment, the psychogeometrics assessment. We'll go through that. I'll do a real quick explanation. You'll get to take that as well as an explanation book on what shapes you are. It's based on 5 shapes, by the way, and how to best communicate with those shapes. So, Judy Briggs, who's that? That's me. Okay. So I'm going to keep your card over here. I'll give you a call and we'll set up a time to do that. Okay? All right. I'm going to give 3 of these away, so it's a good thing it's a small group. John Smothers. Woohoo! Okay, same thing with you. I'll set that up. I'll give you a call. It's amazing. There's only a couple of cards in here. All right. We'll go with the big. Who's this?
Oh, that's not. Oh, it's one of my co-working cards, sorry. It's mine.
There's the wall. I'm telling you. Just call. I'll get your name and all of that. So the 3 of you, I will go ahead and give you a call, contact you, set up a quick coffee time, something like that, to allow you to go through the assessment and see what you can learn.
Awesome. Thank you.